واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him. We seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. And we seek refuge in Allah from the evil of ourselves and the evil of our actions. Whomever Allah guides, none can misguide. And whomever Allah leads astray, none can guide. That I bear witness. I bear witness that there is no God or deity worthy of worship but one, the only one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His slave and messenger. As I bear witness that all the prophets were the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they were the messengers and the prophets of Allah. All you who believe have consciousness of Allah, fear Allah. This word of at-taqwa, which we always hear, this word taqwa, always we hear it in the Quran. Ittaqillah, ittaqullah, ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ittaqullah. What is taqwa? Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu has said, explaining what is at-taqwa. He said, al-khawf min al-jaleel, to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High. Wal-amal bil-tanzeel, and to fulfill whatever descended, that means the Quran and Sunnah. And he said, wal-ista'dad li-yawm al-raheel, to prepare yourself for the day that you're going to depart from this world. الخوف من الجليل العمل بالتنزيل والاستعداد ليوم الرحيل, to prepare yourself for the day that you're going to depart from this worldly life. Ittaqullah, that's taqwa. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, all you who believe, fear Allah the fear that He deserves and only die in state of total submission. Many Muslims don't know what total submission means. It means, my dear respected brothers, when you say that you're a Muslim, that means you've surrendered and you've submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala totally, submissively, without any questioning whatsoever. Without any hesitation. Islam is not like a supermarket that you go in there and choose whatever you want and leave whatever you want. Islam is not like a product that it has an expiry date. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَالْيَوْمْ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمْ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. And today I perfected your religion for you, completed my favor upon you, and I have chosen for you Islam as your religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان. All you who believe, Allah is addressing us. Whenever you hear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, يا أيها الذين آمنوا, pay attention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses us in the best of manner. All you who believe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, all you who believe, enter into Islam totally, submissively, completely. Because many people say, oh, I disagree with this. I disagree with this verse from the Quran. I disagree with this saying of the Prophet Muhammad. No, no, no. You're not a true Muslim. A Muslim is the person that submits and surrenders totally, whether you like it or don't. SubhanAllah, once there was a dispute between a munafiq and a Jew. So they decided to come to the Prophet Muhammad for a judgment. And Muhammad gave a judgment. So they went to Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, and they asked him for the same issue. And he gave his judgment. And then they came to Umar radiallahu anhum ajma'een. And he said to them, did you ask anyone? They said yes. The Jew accepted, but the munafiq did not. So Umar radiallahu anhu said, you've asked the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you come up to me and ask me for a judgment? You ask me to give you a verdict, and you've asked Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So he said, wait a minute, I will come up with a solution. So he went, radiallahu anhu, he brought the sword and chopped the head of the munafiq. He said, this is the judgment, this is my judgment for the person that refuses the judgment of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We don't, wal-iyadu billah, hold back when we hear a call from Allah and a call from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For that reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u al-Rasul. All you who believe, obey Allah and His Messenger. So, whenever we hear Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, we hear and adhere to it. Adkhulu fi silmi kafa, enter into Islam totally. And don't follow the footsteps of shaitan, because shaitan will say, oh, disregard this. Don't worry about this. This is trivial. This is not important. This is khushur. It's only sunnah. Don't worry about it. Until, wal-iyadhu billah, you reach a level that you abstain from major commands from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You begin with the sunnah, and then you reach the wajibs, and then you reach the furud. For that reason, it's important for us to do our utmost best to fulfill the sunnah, even though it's optional. Because the sunnah is the peel of the apple. It is the peel of the core. You neglect the sunnah, eventually you will neglect the fundamentals. Today, this morning, inshallah, we intend to talk about how Muslims should be productive in this day and age. And we look and we brief you with the daily routine of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because as I've mentioned previously, he's the best person to take as a role model, as an example. But I'm not going to be dwelling much upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because it's going to be very, very difficult for us to fulfill whatever our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has. But allow me to brief you. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would pray Fajr. He would pray Fajr sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And after Fajr, he would be going out there to work. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to work. And he said all the prophets were shepherds at once. And he worked for Khadija radiallahu anha before he married her. Working is one of the greatest acts of worship. Once the Sahaba radiallahu anhum saw a man that was very active, and they said, only if this was fi sabilillah. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if this person is working to get married, then that's fi sabilillah. If this man is working to provide for his family, then that's fi sabilillah. If he's working to provide for his parents, that's fi sabilillah. So when you're working, when you're studying, when you're doing the right thing out there, it's an act of worship. You get rewarded for it. When you're working with the intention that you're doing this for the sake of Allah, it becomes a ibadah. It becomes like a sunnah. And sometimes it becomes like wajib, because you have to provide for your family. For that reason, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ya ma'ashar al-shabab, من استطاع منكم الباء فليتزوج. All young men, whomever is able to get married, then get married. Now what's the ability? Physical ability and financial ability. Now Shafi'i rahmatullahi alayhi has said, it is a must for you to get married if you fear that you might fall into haram. A lot of desire, a lot of temptation that exists, especially in Western countries. He said it is compulsory upon you to get married if you fear that you might fall into haram. But it is sunnah if you have total control of yourself. And that's another issue that we'll talk about later on, inshallah, about desires and temptation. So working is something that our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. And then he'll come sallallahu alaihi wasallam to his house before dhuhr. And he would spend some time helping his wives clean up, clean inside the house. He would be helping sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is something that we as Muslims should not be ashamed of, to help our wives, to help our parents. When the adhan is made, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will drop everything and he'd respond to Allah, because Allah is calling you. Hayya ala salah, come to connect. Hayya ala al-falah, come to succeed. Come to Allah, Allah's calling you. When your wife calls you, you respond quickly. Allah is calling you 5 times a day, because Allah wants to provide nutrition for your heart. As the body is in need for food and nutrition, so is our soul. That's why Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, مثل الذي يذكر الله والذي لا يذكر الله مثل الحي والميت. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the example of the person that remembers Allah, the person that remembers Allah, the person that prays, the person that reads the Quran, the example of the person that remembers Allah and the person that does not remember Allah, like the living and dead. Wallah. Wallah. If you don't remember Allah, you are like a living zombie. Your body is moving, but your heart is dead. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, all you who believe, respond to Allah and His Messenger, to that which gives you life. You don't respond to Allah and you don't respond to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wallahi al-azim, you're dead. أقسم بالله العظيم, your heart is dead. So when a caller is calling Hayya ala salah, respond. Can you imagine a blind man, Abdullah ibn Maktoum, a blind man, asks Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for permission to be exempted from coming to a masjid because he's got no one to guide him to the masjid. He said, okay, you may. Then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, to a blind man, who Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Addabani Rabbi fi. What a beautiful hadith. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah has disciplined me through him. Abasa wa tawalla, frowned and turned away. That was Abdullah ibn Maktoum radiyallahu. Anyway, the Sahaba radiyallahu an asks Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for permission not to come to a masjid because he's blind and he's got no one to guide him. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said yes. And then he called him, he said, Tasma al-adhan? Can you hear the adhan? That means, is it close? The masjid, is the masjid close to you? He said yes. He said, fa'ajib, respond. So if you living close to a masjid, then it is compulsory upon you to come to the masjid and pray your prayers. It is compulsory. So, as-salah is nutrition to the soul. And uqsumu billahi al-azim, whomever does not pray, they are miserable, even if they are multi-billionaires, even if they have the greatest looking women around them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in Al-Quran. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. Whoever rejects the remembrance of Allah, surely, indeed, certainly, they'll have a life of misery. Don't be fooled by those people that show you that they're happy and they're enjoying themselves. Wallahi al-azim, they're miserable. The biggest suicide in the world is amongst Westerners. The people who are depressed, they are going through depression, anxiety, bipolar, are the Westerners. The people who are living comfortably more than anyone else on the face of the earth are the Westerners. People are richer than any other time. People are more educated than any other time. With all this, they are the most miserable people. Why? Because they are living at a time of confusion. Why? Because they are not providing nutrition to their heart. They think they can attain happiness through alcohol. Or through their rugby, let us say, team wins. Or through getting this woman, or through getting this man, or by fulfilling certain desire that they intend. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, Allah has said subhanahu, that they are miserable. Who are we to listen? Who are we to accept and adhere to and believe? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of those people, or the people themselves? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي, whomever rejects the remembrance, my remembrance, surely they'll have a life of misery. Life of misery. وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. And the day of judgment, this person will be placed blind. This person would complain. And he and she would say, قَالَ رَبِّي لِمَا حَشَرْتَنِي أَعْمَى. Oh Allah, why have you placed me blind? What have I done to be placed blind? وَقَدْ كُنْتُ بَصِيرًا. While I was able to see. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, قَالَ, the most merciful would say, قَالَ كَذَلِكَ أَتَتْكَ آيَاتُنَا فَنَسِيتَهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, my signs was brought to you, but you have forgotten it. You've neglected it. You've forgotten the real purpose of life. You've forgotten to ponder upon what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. You've forgotten to open up the Quran and look at the miracles that is in the Quran. You've forgotten the purpose of life. You were too busy and you too occupied. You've forgotten why you've been created. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, وَكَذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ تُنْسَى. And today you'll be forgotten. You've forgotten Allah. You've forgotten that Allah has created you to worship Him. You've forgotten that the money that you have, there's a reason, it's conditional, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in this hadith al-Qudsi. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا الْمَالِ لِإِقَامِ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِيتَاءِ الزَّكَاةِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has descended wealth. The money that you have and I have, my dear respected brothers and sisters, is to perform prayer and to pay zakat. It is conditional. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as I said, he worked. And he worked and he responded to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For that reason, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, تَنَاكَحُ تَكَاثَرُ فَإِنِّي مُبَاهٍ بِكُمُ الْأُمَمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَرُهْبَانِيَّةِ النَّصَارَى. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, get married. For you to get married, you have to work. Get married. Have children. I'll be proud of you the day of judgment. And don't be like the Christians who've denied themselves this intimate relationship. Don't be like them. I'll be proud of you. Get married. And this is another topic, inshallah, that we'll talk about later. So our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to respond to Allah. Once he hears a call, the adhan, he would respond. And our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after dhuhr, he would have a qaylula, a power nap, a short nap. As the brothers, mashallah, having now. And this is actually very healthy for you. And it's been proven. And there are many countries like France and other countries that they actually have power naps. And this will recharge your battery. But not, mashallah, if you, let us say, you sleep until 10 o'clock in the morning, and then you work for a few hours, or you stay for 2 hours, and then you come up and say, I want to have a power nap. Mashallah, you've napped and powered yourself for such a long time. And please don't oversleep. And mashallah, I called the brother yesterday. I won't mention his name. He's the one that drove me here. I called him at 12 o'clock. I said, brother, where are you? You're not sleeping, are you? He said, oh, not really. He was sleeping really. Because how can you not sleep really? You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. So, Jazallah, 12 o'clock, mashallah, Jum'ah day, a blessed day. Muhammad said when a person comes early, it's like, mashallah, they have given a camel for the sake of Allah, and they're given, let us say, a goat, a chicken, an egg. This brother has not even left an egg, mashallah, tabarakallah. I love this. I'm sure he's going to forgive me. We've got a long way to drive when we go back, so I'll convince him, and I'll talk about the importance of forgiving. So it is important, honestly, not to sleep too much. You become lazy. And there's a beautiful hadith of the Prophet Muhammad in regards of productivity. The Prophet Muhammad says, أَحَبُّ النَّاسِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَنْفَعَهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. خلينا نعيد الحديث جميعا. أَحَبُّ النَّاسِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَنْفَعَهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. The most loved people to Allah are those who are most productive to people. Muslims, Jews, Christians, Buddhists, atheists. Those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves most are those who are productive to people. They're productive. They're educated. They provide an input to the community, regardless of the community that they're in. Regardless of their belief. So for those brothers and sisters that are studying, may Allah bless you. We need you. You're important so that we can provide the Muslim and non-Muslim community something to look forward to. Whether it's technology, whether it's medicine, regardless. Whether the infrastructure, whatever it is. Whether it's morality, decency, regardless. أَحَبُّ النَّاسِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. The most beneficial to people are the ones that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves most. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was amazing with the people. He had a very close relationship. And allow me to tell you of this relationship that, subhanAllah, he's so close to people to an extent that some people would be so open with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they would ask him some questions that the Sahaba could not even contemplate nor understand. Yani a young man comes to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, i'dhan li biz-zina. Now there's difference between fornication and adultery. Fornication is the person that commits, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, this intimate relationship, not being married. Adultery is the person that fulfills this intimate relationship and they're married, and وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, their punishment is death. No joking around. This is Islam. So this young man comes and asks Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as other young men would be asking about the same thing in these days. He said, "I'dhan li biz-zina." O Messenger of Allah, give me permission to commit adultery. The Sahaba were angry at this young man's request and consent that he's asking Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not get angry. He didn't say, what are you saying, you stupid idiot? He didn't shun him aside. He said, come. My dear respected du'at, My dear respected brothers and sisters, if you want to give da'wah, then look closely at Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is conditional that you look at him and you see how he dealt with those who are ignorant and those who have knowledge, and how he spoke to different people at a different level, depending on their knowledge. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came up to him, he sat with him, and he put his knees towards his knees. And he was so close. And if you ever want to give da'wah, and you want to give a nasiha, don't give a nasiha on the phone. If you're serious about giving nasiha, then come up to the person by himself, because the Shafi'i has said, "An-nasiha amam an-nas fadiha." If you want to advise someone in front of others, it is an embarrassment. So if you're dead serious about giving nasiha, take this person aside and speak to this person in a manner of wisdom, gently, nicely. Don't say, "Brother, what's this t-shirt that you have? You've got a photo on it. It's haram. How come you don't have a beard? A'udhu billah, you're fasiq." What? Astaghfirullah. Wallahi, ya akhwan, I have seen many people have distanced themselves away from the masajid because of the harshness of some of the people. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. If you're harsh-hearted, people would run away from you. People would flee away from you. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told them, "Id'u ila sabili rabbika." Call to the path of Allah. Don't call for your group, this group or this. No. Id'u ila sabili rabbika. Call to the path of Allah with hikmah. Just imagine going to a pub and you have a friend there, his name's Khalid, and you say, "Khalid, call Allah this and call Allah that," and he'll grab a stubby and smash it on your head. He's drunk. It's not hikmah. It's not hikmah for you to go inside this place. Hikmah. To say the right thing at the right time. ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة, and your sincere advice, حسنة. وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. And if you need to, argue with them in the best of manner. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us how to deal with even non-Muslims. وَلَا تُجَادِلُوا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي أَحْسَنُ. Only argue with the people of the book in the best of manner. Don't go down to their low level if they are low. If they start becoming abusive, it doesn't mean that you become abusive. Always have a very good character. Make sure that you have this character, that you don't, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, allow people to drag you into saying something that you shouldn't be saying. And one of the greatest character that a Muslim can ever have is to control your anger. Muhammad, he said, and please, this is an advice for those brothers and sisters that become angry. I'm sure we don't have sisters that get angry, just brothers. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and mind you, anger is good sometimes. When you see what's happening to Syria, for example, and places like this, you should be angry. You see when your brothers, when your brothers are suffering in Afghanistan and Iraq and all that, you should be angry. And this anger is good. But the anger which is disliked is when someone loses their temper and they don't realize what they're doing. Or they get angry for the wrong reason. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and this is a key, إِذَا غَضَبْتَ فَاسْكُتْ إِذَا غَضَبْتَ فَاسْكُتْ إِذَا غَضَبْتَ فَاسْكُتْ. This hadith helped me. If you become angry, be quiet. If you become angry, be quiet. If you become angry, be quiet. A man asks Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, advise me. He said, لا تغضب. Don't get angry. Control yourself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in Al-Quran, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Those who control their anger, control. Didn't say those that don't have anger, those who control it. And those who forgive people, Allah loves them. So when you're controlling your anger, know that Allah loves you. And when you forgive others, know that Allah loves you. How beautiful is that? Oh Allah, I'm controlling. I know I can knock this person out, no problem at all. But Allah, I'm controlling myself for you. I remember once, we every fortnight in Melbourne City, we go, there's about 20 of us that go to different areas in Melbourne City, and we distribute flyers and free DVDs for the non-Muslims. So once we took a brother, mashallah, he's a black belt 3 Dan. And he just started to practice. And he gave out a pamphlet to someone. The first thing that this person said, "May you go to hell." Now this guy, the only reason that he's doing this, but because he wants to go to heaven. So the first comment that he gave is that, "May you go to hell." And the next person that approaches him, he's a Christian missionary. And he yells and screams at him. And they call me. I was on the other side of the city. "Abu Hamza, this is happening." And here I am. I'm running from one side of the city to the other side. Alhamdulillah, I was very fit then. Anyhow, I got there. And people roaming around. And people have gathered. Now, I was worried for the Christian. I was not worried for the Muslim. Because this Muslim will knock his head off. And I don't want a Mazar Sharif in the middle of the city. I don't want a tomb, in the middle of the city of Melbourne. So I ran and I've realized that there are so many people, and this Muslim brother is getting angry and he's getting agitated. He's just about to belt the other guy. So I came, I said, "Brother, just relax." I said to the Christian, I said, "You're Christian?" He said, "Yes." I said, "You're the follower of Christ?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Can you imagine that Jesus would do what you're doing at the moment, yell and scream in the manner that you have? Don't you take him as a role model?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Why are you behaving like this?" I said, "If you want to talk to us, we're willing to sit down and talk to you, as Jesus used to do. You bring your evidence, we bring our evidence, and if you prove that we're wrong, we'll follow you." And he just sort of calmed down. And the people, alhamdulillah, started to go away from there. So sometimes it's very difficult to control yourself at a time of anger, especially when someone is abusing you and you're ignorant, you don't have enough knowledge. So anyway, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said to this young man, he sat with him, he said to him, "Would you mind that your mother commits adultery?" He said, "Bi'abi anta wa ummi ya Rasulullah, la!" He said, "I will give my mother and father for you. No, I would not want that my mother commits adultery." He said, "Your auntie?" He said, "No." He said, your sister?" He said, "No." He said, "Then how do you like that you commit adultery in someone else's mother or sister or wife? Wal'iyadu billah. How? If you don't like it to yourself, then how do you like it to others?" And please, I want you, my dear respected brothers and sisters, whenever you want to do something, would you like that someone does it to you or to a member of your family? And then Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam placed his hand on his heart. And then he said, "Allahumma hadi qalbah." Subhanallah. Washrah sadr. Oh Allah, guide his heart. And open up his heart. This young man said, "By Allah, the thing that I dislike most is fornication." You see the hikmah? He said, "The thing that I love most," before asking Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, "is I want to commit fornication. And now the thing that I hate and I find disgusting more than anything else is fornication." Why? Because the hikmah and the beautiful approach of our beloved Prophet Muhammad. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would spend his day like this, advising others. He'd be given talks, not all the time, and that's the wisdom of the Prophet. If he sees the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, that they're tired, they've worked so hard, and they're under a tremendous pressure, he would not give a talk. Look at the hikmah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And sometimes the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, for example, I have a neighbor. I'd be attending and I'd be listening to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, while my other neighbor, he's at home. And I will tell him what the Prophet, peace be upon him, has given as an advice, and the next day he will go and he will tell me. Look at the relationship that exists. Subhanallah. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after Isha, he would sleep. Khalas. No time for shisha, no time for smoking, no time to watch neighbors and the bold and the beautiful and the restless and all that kind of stuff. No time. This is time that the Prophet, peace be upon him, would rest, so that he would get up during the night and pray. The night prayer. And he would stay, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, until Fajr, praying. Now, this is not compulsory, this is optional. This is optional. I'm not saying to follow the program of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam in this manner. Their life was totally different. We have to be realistic. And I love the saying of Umar, which he said, عَلِّمُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ لِزَمَانٍ غَيْرِ زَمَانِكُمْ. Teach your children to a time different than your time. We're living at a totally different time. The necessity of life these days is totally different. They didn't have to pay for electricity and petrol and cars and fees for the university. We have to be realistic. So if we were to tell the people to live like the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the Sahaba, we're wrong. We can't tell them, hey, listen, don't buy a car, get a donkey. You know, ride a donkey. The only person that would say ride the donkey, don't get a car, is the donkey himself. We have to be realistic. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, finally, he has said a beautiful hadith, and we'll finish with this hadith by the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 5 minutes, mashallah. See the blessing of time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an oath. Why? To draw your attention. If I was to say, Wallahi, last night I did not sleep whatsoever, because there was a couple of brothers beside me in another room, mashallah, they were talking about so many different things, and I can tell you exactly what they spoke about. Wallahi, I was not, being a spy. I had no choice. You believe me? How about if I was to tell you that Ali radiallahu anhu makes an oath? You'd believe. How about if I was to tell you the Prophet? How about if I was to tell you that Allah makes an oath? Allah makes an oath. Why? To draw your attention. For you to pay attention. Naam ya Rabb. Why are you making an oath? With what? With something that is great. What is it? Buy time. Walas. Take advantage of the time. This time, you either utilize it to something which is pleasing to Allah, and you'll enter into paradise, inshallah, and we'll all be of those. Ya Rabb. Or, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, we don't take advantage of time, and we spend our days and nights in a manner which is displeasing to Allah, and we'll enter hell. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an oath by time. Indeed, mankind are in loss. So all those that don't pray, and they don't do the right thing, and they don't worship Allah, Wallahi al-Azim, they are in loss. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except those that believe in Allah. Is that enough? وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and they've done righteousness. Is that enough? No. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ, and they recommend to one another the truth. They're involved in the community. They're not selfish and greedy and think of themselves. تَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. I come up to the brother, I say, brother, be patient. This is a very difficult time that you're going through. Be patient. People making fun of you, they're making a mockery out of you, that you're praying 5 times a day and you lift your beat. Be patient, brother. They used to laugh at the prophets. They laughed at the companions. They laughed at those who are righteous. These days they laugh at you if you pray 5 times a day. And they look at you that you're a fanatic. And you're extremist and fundamentalist and all that type of stuff. Well, it's okay for them to work all week and to spend all their money Friday and Saturday night, to love their rugby and to love their cricket, to an extent that sometimes they give that preference to anything else more than their wives and their children. And they look at you and say, you're backwards. They feel sorry for you, subhanallah, because you're praying. Because the sister is wearing hijab, and her mother is not, and she's putting her under immense pressure. So take off the hijab. A sister comes up to me while I was in Lebanon, and I knew her from a young age. She said to me, Abu Hamza, my husband is asking me to take off the hijab. And I have 6 children. I don't know what to do. What should I do? I said, sister, it's your choice. You're either a worshipper of your husband or a worshipper of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands you to put on the hijab. And your husband is telling you not to put on the hijab. It's up to you. It's your choice. She knew exactly what I was getting at. She told him, I will never take off the hijab. He divorced her. She married someone else who is righteous, and she came up to me, she said, I've never been happier in my life. Man taraka shay' lillah. Whomever leaves something for the sake of Allah, Allah will compensate him with something better. At the moment, if you have a relationship which is haram, if you leave it for the sake of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will compensate you with something better. And we will talk about this another time. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said, take advantage of 5 before 5. Who knows them? The first one is Shababik. Take advantage of your youth before you become now. Now you can read the Quran. Now you can learn how to read the Quran. Now you can memorize the Quran. Now you can memorize the Sunnah. Now you're young. You are like a sponge. Anything that you put on it, you're able to absorb. The younger you are, the more intelligent that you'll, inshallah, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you'll be able to come if you spend time studying. Take advantage of your youthhood before you become old. And your wealth before you become poor. I love this hadith. Muhammad said, تعرفوا على الله في الرخاء يعرفكم في الشدة. Know Allah when you're comfortable. Know Allah when you have the ability to give. Allah would know you when you are in need. Ya Allah, how beautiful is this? Give and Allah will give you. تعرف. Know Allah when you have something that you can provide others, that you can be productive. Allah will know you when you ask Him. غناك قبل فقرك. Your wealth before you become poor. صحتك قبل سقمك. Take advantage of your health before you become sick. Now, alhamdulillah, you can get up and pray 5 times a day, no problem. You're healthy, you're strong, you can help others. Later on, you might need someone else to help. You might need to pray while you're sitting down or sleeping. Take advantage now that you're healthy and strong, that you can help others. Subhanallah. And that's very, very important. Take advantage of your time, your spare time before you become occupied. I can give a lecture about this, just that. Most of the brothers and sisters, they get into mischief, wrongdoing, evil doings, ill sayings when they have a lot of spare time. The majority of youth today, they do wicked acts because they have a lot of spare time. This time you'll be held responsible for. You'll be asked about this time that Allah's given you. So take advantage of it. Utilize it. Read more about the prophets. See how you can help people. And I love this hadith of Muhammad which he said, المؤمن القوي خير وأحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف في كل خير. The strong believer is better and more love to Allah than the weak believer. If you're strong physically, alhamdulillah, financially, technologically, if you're strong, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you more than the weak Muslims. المؤمن القوي خير, better and more love to Allah than the weak believer. So, and inshallah again I'll explain this hadith later on. And also finally Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said, take advantage of your time, take advantage of your life before your death. And I explained a little bit in the morning about taking advantage and thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah bless you.
Just have some quick questions and answers right now, just for a few minutes, and then inshallah we'll move onwards with the cryptonology session for the brothers in the dining hall and the sisters will assist the coordinating, inshallah. So any questions and answers? Any questions from the crowd? Yeah.
I'm happy listening to the Shaykh here, and might you reconsider giving Qayula the camp?
No, you had plenty of sleep last night. You should have had plenty of sleep.
A few brothers asked me a question, and I said to them, ask me one, because it was a very important question, so I said to them, ask me the questions while I'm. Yes, sir?
How would you know the signs that someone who's possessed?
Okay, the signs of people that are possessed and bewitched. Well, first of all, hating and disliking to be in a gathering like this. Hating hearing the Quran. They sense pins and needles in the tips of their fingers and toes. They like to be alone, secluded away from you. They like to spend a lot of time inside the toilets. They like to be in darkness. No, it doesn't mean that one of these symptoms that means you have a problem. I'm saying most of these symptoms. Then we have major problems. I'll be here reading day and night and I won't be going back to my country. Anyway. Praying and they sense that they are very heavy and they can't wait till they finish. Also, having bad dreams constantly. Seeing in their dreams dogs, black dogs, snakes, spiders, seeing themselves falling from high places. Having two split personalities, where one minute I like this brother and the other minute I want to knock his head off. Two split personalities. Now with magic, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in Surah Al-Baqarah 102, يُفَرِّقُونَ بِهِ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَزَوْجِهِ. They divide the husband from wife. The most popular magic that exists today to divide the husband from wife is very popular everywhere in the world. That's why in Islam a magician should be killed. And let's not go out there and start killing people. I'm talking about the Islamic Sharia, Islamic country, Islamic law. Okay? Just in case one of the brothers, mashallah, decides, I know a magician, inshallah tomorrow. Islamic country, the camera is there. Islamic country. Because I'd like to come here again, inshallah. If these are shown to the media, mashallah, I have very good relationship with the media. Anyway, Muhammad has said, حَدَّ السَّاحِرْ قَتْلَهُ بِالسَّيْفِ. The punishment of the magician is to cut his head with a sword. Because of the destruction they cause amongst families. These are just some of the symptoms. Okay? Now, how do you take guard from this? Ayat al-Kursi. Regardless how busy I am, regardless of the time that I have, after each prescribed prayer, I would read Ayat al-Kursi. Now what I do is very dangerous, and many of the people that have done what I've done, they've left, many. Because sometimes the shaitan, if he can't attack you, because sometimes you're killing the shaitan. And if they can't attack you, they'll attack family members. So whoever intends to do something like this, they need to make sure that their wife and their children and their parents are guarded and they're practicing. Because the shaitan, if he can't attack you, he'll attack a member of your family. One of my friends that does this in Melbourne, he would read, and alhamdulillah, the shaitan would leave and he will go into his son or his daughter. So his son and his daughter, they'll wake up in the middle of the night and they'll say, Dad, look where he is. Because you're attacking them. Sometimes you're killing them by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they want to take revenge. And wallahi al-azim, I don't fear all the shayateen on the face of the earth. As long as I have a good relationship with Allah. I am praying, I'm making some of these dhikr. And I would feed half of jinn and half of a shaitan if I was not fulfilling my obligation and if I'm not praying nor making adhkar. Wallah, I don't feed them whatsoever. I went to Sydney 2 weeks ago, and one of the brothers who was possessed, he actually tried to kill himself. He grabbed a knife and he tried to cut his throat, but alhamdulillah he just turned his face the last minute and he ended up cutting himself from just below his ear to his chin. A Shaykh went there to read on him. He grabbed the Shaykh like this and he lifted the Shaykh like that. The Shaykh said, just leave me, I'll leave and I will not come back again. Group of brothers went to read on him. He pushed them all, and subhanallah al-azim, they ended up, fearing this person and they left. They called me, they said, please come from Melbourne to Sydney. So I went there. And the shayateen know who you are. It's like, I know this brother, Omar, I know him. I say, Omar, mashallah, is a good person. And the shayateen also know one another. So as soon as I came to this person, there was few people with me. I said, every one of you leave. Now the shaitan started to panic. Because when you come with many people, this guy is frightened, he's scared. That's why he needs a backup. I said, everyone leave. And I looked at him and his lips started to go like this straight away. I sat beside him. I put my knee underneath his ribs. And I started to read the Quran. Wallahi, akhwan, the Quran is so powerful. Wallahi al-azim. Within 15 minutes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and only Allah gave him shifa. Within 15 minutes. Sometimes it takes a month. Sometimes it takes 2 months. Sometimes it takes a year for the jinn to leave the body. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, not Abu Hamza. Abu Hamza can't do anything without the will of Allah. Allah alone. Within 15 minutes, his legs started to shake like this, and that's how they leave from the leg usually, or the hands. Started to shake and started to yell and scream for about 15 minutes until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him shifa. If someone was to tell me this over 20, 25 years back, I would say, you're a liar. There's no such thing as possession and all that kind of stuff. Uqsimu billah, it's true and it happens every day. As I've been here now for the last 2 days, I've received 2 messages from London to go there and read on someone that is possessed. But obviously I haven't been able to because I'm just busy. And I travel often because of this. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, I beg you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grab this Quran and have it in your heart. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you. We are in need to hold on to this Quran. We are in need to pray. Allah is not in need for us. We are in need for Allah. We are in need. Grab onto it. Thank Allah that Allah has subhanallah blessed you with Islam. Thank Him. Say alhamdulillah that I'm a Muslim. Be proud. We see some of the Christians and Jews and Buddhists, and they're proud of their belief, which if you were to look, it makes no sense. Cut that off, please, also that part. We have Islam. Islam, it makes so much sense. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. In the world today, and especially amongst women. Because women, when they look into Islam, they sense a sense of happiness and tranquility that they don't sense in anything else. Because women, especially in Western society, they've become like a commodity. If she's good looking and mashallah and she gets along well with others, she will get to places. And they look at her with temptation and desire more than anything else. So for that reason, please, I beg you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Ayatul Kursi is recited after every compulsory prayer. Before you go to sleep, read Al-Ma'udatayn, Qul A'udhu Rabbil Nas, Qul A'udhu Falaq. And these 2 surahs descended for a reason, and I want you to do your homework and to